So, in dealing with these sugarcane aphids and coming back again for a second treatment, well, there was a lot of questions back there in 2015, but I think by 2017 now we've got a little bit clearer picture of when and if we need to come back. We know if we follow our threshold to the T, even if we get a good knockdown on our first application of sugarcane aphid, they can rebuild. And if we follow that 30% infested throughout the whole year, we could be spraying every 10 days. That's just something that's not economically feasible. Looking at the screen in front of us here, we've got a trend that we picked up from our data in 2015 that kind of suggested that if we, for a second application, as that plant is matured, it's got some color on the grain, getting close to that black line, that if we just protect the upper 50% of the plant, we'd be okay. But we weren't sure because we had no idea what zero on that scale would look like. Now, the scale we're talking about using here, it's a pretty simple one. 0 would be zero damage, and a 10 would, well, that just equates to 100% of the plant is either covered or damaged by the sugarcane aphid. So a 5 is going to be about 50% of that plant has been damaged or is infested with the aphid.
So that would be the lower 50%.
That would be the lower 50% as we look at coming back for a retreatment later in the season, is what we're looking at there. So Dr. Pat Porter, Caitlin Cowles, myself a little bit at the Lubbock station. We tried to set this up and confirm it where we used different rates. Pat went through this and different rates of different products trying to force upon those plots to get the different types of our different damage ratings. It did work pretty well, and then we of course added in some other trials that we had at Halfway and at Bushland into this to kind of help the more data the better, so to speak.
Yeah, and all these trials were a little bit different. We had different types of hybrids and different irrigation schedules, but what we're really looking at is how much yield loss are we going to sustain when we have different damage levels, and each different additional level of damage, how much yield are we going to lose. And so looking at this first trial in Lubbock, we had a susceptible sorghum hybrid and fairly good water throughout the season. And so looking at these graphs, the major thing to note is as you go up on the damage rating scale, you're losing substantial amounts of yield every single damage rating. And so for these this one hybrid, we lost 317 pounds or $16 per additional level of damage. And moving on to Ed's data at Bushland, this was also a susceptible sorghum hybrid, and it was more dry. It was pre-watered early in the season and then had a little bit of rain, but we saw even more yield loss. For every single additional level of damage, saw over 400 pounds of yield loss at the end of the season.
Yeah, there at Halfway, we actually wound up using a resistant sorghum. So we noted that drop off, but we only had 155 pounds lost per additional damage rating. So it kind of looked out pretty well with the different hybrids. Of course, this was a drip irrigated field as well, and we're not sure how that plays into it. But we think the drier the field is and the aphids are out there, the harder it could be hit in the field as well, in addition to the resistant factor.
Yeah, and this does indicate that the resistant hybrids do provide a level of protection compared to susceptible hybrids.
Yeah, I think they really do. And so when we put all this combined in together, we feel pretty strong as a team that if you need to come back and you've got some color on that grain, if we just protect the upper 50% of the sorghum plant, I think we should be economically good until we reach that black layer.